Sam for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today we are going to be talking about Lore Olympus Volume 3. If you know me personally, or if you are a follower of this vlog here, you know I am a fan of Lore Olympus. I love Lore Olympus. I fast pass that webtoon every Saturday when there's a new episode. I love Lore Olympus, and this one is no exception, clearly, because it compiles episodes 50 to 75 of the webtoon comic. And you might be asking, well, if you've already read it, why would you buy the book? First of all, it is a graphic novel, and I purchase it, one, because I want to support the author, and two, it gives you a different feel when you're reading it in a novel form versus reading it on weekly installments when you just like scroll up on your phone, you know. The formatting, first of all, is spectacular. You know, I want to talk a little bit about Rachel Smythe's artwork before I talk about her storytelling. The full page spreads are absolutely beautiful. And the way that her and her team have decided to put all her separate panels together to fit this whole spread, it works. It is imaginative, you know, it really does feel organic. It feels like this was how it was always supposed to be designed, and that's what I like about it. Because it doesn't ruin what she's already created, and I really do love what she has created. It really is wonderful, you know. Again, I read it every Saturday, webtoon, I fast pass it, I love it. But it also creates a different feel, you know, when you're reading it weekly, you know, you have 7 days, you know, you have a week to really like absorb, and you know, life happens, you kind of forget what happens, and then it's just like, Lord Olympus. So every episode makes you feel differently. Here you're reading it all together and it makes you feel differently. Everything, the way it's all put together, it's very emotional. It's very in-depth. You know, it feels more cohesive this way, and it gives you a different feel when you're reading it all put together versus in the weekly installments, if you know what I mean. It's just a whole different feel when you're reading it this way. And for me, it also feels like it's a director's cut, because there are things that she does put in this novel, you know, like an extra chapter that didn't quite fit within her weekly installments because they kind of disrupted the flow. So I really like seeing what didn't make the final cut reinserted here, because to me it feels like a director's cut version of the story, and there's more to it because it fits better within the full page spreads. It fits better within this form of storytelling, you know, compiling it into a graphic novel. Now, that goes hand in hand with her storytelling. I love her storytelling. This is a contemporary take on Persephone and Hades and their romance, and there's a lot of that all of a sudden. If you've noticed, there's a whole lot of delving into these two and their romance. I like the way she's really structuring these characters, you know. It's relatable. You have Persephone, who has lived her whole life sheltered, and if you've been following the story, you know, she finally gets to leave home. She was pretty much living in the gilded cage, you know, and in these episodes, 50 to 75, you know, she's still struggling, you know, with the PTSD. She's still struggling with the assault that she suffered at the hands of Apollo. You know, she's struggling to fit into this perfect image her mother has always made her believe she needs to be in. She needs to be in this box of perfection. She needs to be the perfect maiden. She needs to be in maiden for all eternity. It was just like, it's never really been about what Persephone wants. You know, it's always been about what other people want for her. And she's really starting to figure out what she wants, while she's also dealing with a lot of these issues and her own feelings for Hades as they come alive. Then you have Hades, who's dealing with his own issues. You know, he's in a very toxic relationship with Minith, who has her own issues because he feels inadequate. You know, he doesn't feel like he deserves love. So he's dealing with his own feelings of inadequacy here. And when you see the friendship that bubbles up between Persephone and Hades, I mean, she's just honest with him. She doesn't act like he's any different. She treats him equally. She's kind to him without expecting anything in return. And that allows him to open up a little bit more. And when they're together, you see that love. You see how healthy they are for one another, because they don't just care about each other. They care about each other's mental and emotional well-being above all else. You know, they care deeply for one another as friends, and you're seeing that develop here, and you're seeing the underlying of that romance because they have feelings for each other, and it's adorable and it's so sweet. But I like the way that Smythe is really developing these characters, because even though the core of the story is about Persephone and Hades and their romance, you are also developing Hera and Artemis and Minith and Eros and Psyche and Daphne and everyone. Everyone is being developed, and you're seeing how they all have their own issues. You know, they may be gods, but they're so relatable to us as readers, you know, to even just think, these mythological figures have as many issues as I do. It's relatable, you know. You can see, any reader can see themselves in any of these characters in the way that they are built and structured and developed. It's so relatable. And Smythe's artwork as well is very expressive. She doesn't always need, I'm very picky when it comes to graphic novels. I'm very, very picky, which is why I don't read them a lot. But I am exceedingly picky about them. She doesn't need words to say anything. And some scenes, there are no words. You know, some panels, nothing is being said, but you get what's being said through the artwork, through the expressiveness of the characters. You can see their pain, their anger, their grief, their excitement. You can see all the emotions in the subtleness of a shading here or a line there, and the coloring here. And sometimes it's just images, you know, it's not even facial expressions. It's a tree, it's a blossom. It's beautiful the way that Smythe is really bringing to life the story and making it connect to you, the reader, through her artwork and her storytelling and the way she is making these characters so incredibly relatable. So, if it's any surprise to you, this book gets 5 out of 5 stars. It's absolutely wonderful. I really do love it. Highly recommend it. And if you are already reading the webtoon, yes, get the novel, because it really does offer you a different feel for the story, and you're absorbing all this information in a different way. You may know the story already, but rereading it, you know, in this structure is vastly different than just scrolling up on your phone or your tablet to read the story when it pops up Saturday night. So, once again, 5 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I will include links in the description below on where to purchase. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-fi, Patreon, making a donation to my PayPal, or purchasing one of my handmade candles on my Etsy store. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.